This week, it'll have been exactly 1 year since Joanne and I got married, and to this day, I'm still blown away by just how strong she is. And not just strength in a strictly physical sense, although she is that too, but inner strength, patience, and strength of character, and that's something that I keep seeing every single day. You see, right off the bat, while we were still dating, I always knew that she was strong physically. We had met at the gym through the introduction of mutual friends, and we had worked out together a few times. Somehow, she always suffered through workouts without complaining, getting to the end and telling me how much she enjoyed it. We laugh about it now, joking that she was just saying that and doing that to try and impress me. But to be honest, I was very impressed. She was easily one of the strongest and most hardworking girls that I knew, always coming to the gym with this drive and focus, ready to improve herself however she could. And come to find out later, this is the same attitude that she would approach all areas of her life with. As we got to know each other more, I came to find out that she was a waitress, often working late shifts that lasted until 3 or 4 in the morning, and she was doing that to help pay for school, as she had aspirations to go into graphic design or into user experience design. And as I came to find out, that intense drive and laser focus was the same way that she applied herself there too. From Joanne, what I've always seen is just how far hard work can take you. Whereas I was always one to easily discount myself because I would consider myself not naturally gifted or talented, Joanne, on the other hand, she would never let those types of ideas get in her head and dissuade her from trying. And no matter what, she would always put everything she had into it, and that would often take her so far, just focusing on the work and just grinding away day after day without complaining. It was just incredible to be present and witness that transitionary period in her life. Going from a waitress, working late hours and balancing school at the same time, paying tuition and paying bills, to finishing her programs and then diligently applying to jobs in her field, eventually landing a great design job which she applied herself and excelled at. Even when she would sometimes describe periods where she would be confused or overwhelmed at work, she would always eventually go right back, finding a resource, a book, a coworker, whatever material she needed to make sure that she could continue, always pressing forward no matter the difficulty. For her, it wasn't a matter of approaching a situation without fear, more than it was confronting that fear and pushing forward despite the challenges. I remember the very first time taking her snowboarding, not being sure whether or not she'd be able to suffer through the first beginner days. She ended up spending hours in the beginner's area by herself, unstrapping her board, walking up the small hill, only to strap in and slide down, falling down all the way. To be honest, in my mind, I was certain that she would never want to go again, that this would be the last trip that we would go together. So I was shocked when the next day, she went and purchased lessons for herself so that she could improve more quickly. And improve she did, not letting any of those slips and falls and bumps and bruises get in her way of achieving success. And quite literally through absolute pure grit, sticking it out and eventually being able to go down black diamond runs with ease within 2 seasons. And so it was right around that time that our family was dealt the devastating blow of the onset of Mom's dementia. It just seemed like it came out of nowhere, and it was so especially hard because here we had the strongest woman I had known up until that point in my life, losing her faculties, losing her personality, losing her independence, everything about her that made her this incredibly strong and powerful and wonderful loving woman, changing right before me. It was an incredibly difficult and scary time for me. There were nights where I would cry myself to sleep, feeling almost as if the whole world that I knew was just falling apart and disappearing in front of me. But it was during that period that Joanne really stepped it up, comforting me and reassuring me, using her own strength to prop up and support Mom's disappearing strength in our lives. On top of all her other duties and responsibilities, she would often cook and clean, taking care of me and the rest of our family, freeing up our time to be able to help take care of Mom, doing many of the thankless things and chores in the background, really enabling us to care for Mom. And without her, this wouldn't have been possible. And so although our engagement wasn't in the most ideal of circumstances, there was no doubt in my mind that she was the one for me. I remember reading a long time ago something that said that you end up marrying somebody that is a lot like your own parent. I remember thinking to myself at the time that that was the grossest, weirdest thing that I had ever come across. Why would I ever want to be with or marry someone like my mom? But through this, I began to see the wisdom in that statement and just how true it is. You see, up until that point in my life, Mama always had been the strongest woman I had ever known, always sacrificing herself, putting our needs and the needs of the family before her own, serving us and all of those around her with love and patience. And unsurprisingly, this is exactly what I saw in Joanne. And especially as things continued to get harder, she began exhibiting more and more of these qualities. And just like I had seen her do before in other things, rising up in adversity and facing the challenge head on with poise and grace. And so we went into our wedding exactly 1 year ago, knowing that we'd be facing difficulties and challenges ahead. But to be honest, I don't think either of us really knew just how hard things were going to be. And after 1 year, I can safely say that it just keeps getting harder and harder, more than we had ever imagined. But through it all, Joanne has shown me again and again her resilience, her resolve, and commitment to this family. And with this, together, we've been able to weather so many unforeseen circumstances, things that I would have never gotten through without her, like taking care of Mom together and managing the incredible rate of her decline, like the days where I can't do anything but cry and Joanne is there to comfort me every step of the way. Or like the unexpected loss of our dear baby Bubba. Having to make the heartbreaking decision of putting Bubba down was definitely not something that I could have managed on my own. And it was really Joanne's inner strength and peace and her reassurance that we were making the right decision for him out of love that carried me through. And so as we head into our 1 year anniversary and the years beyond, there's nobody else I'd rather have by my side. From working out to school, to her career, to our family, Joanne has shown over and over that she possesses this deep inner strength, this strength that I've only known up until this point in my life from my own mother. And as I shared before, the thing that pains me and hurts me the most is that my future kids will never get to know the loving and kind person that my mother is, that they will never get to meet and know her the way that I do. But despite this, thanks to Joanne, I find so much comfort in knowing that they will know a mother like her, one that displays the exact same qualities of faith, of love, patience, resilience, and such deep strength and commitment. So although it doesn't make the thought of losing Mom any easier, it does give me such an immense amount of peace knowing that Joanne is here with me. So happy 1 year anniversary, dear. I love you so much. I couldn't have picked a better partner to walk through life with.